All right, so what's unique about all cardiac cells? Why are they different? So they've got the intercalated disc, right? So each cell they kind of mesh in with the ones next to them. And they have the branching muscle fibers.
Okay.
But on those intercalated discs, they have the gap junction. So there's literally gaps in the membrane. So the cytoplasm from one gets shared with everybody. The cytoplasm literally flows around throughout all the different cells.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I don't know why I remember that. Maybe that was one of the ones I was falling asleep in, but.
Okay, but that's why when one cell gets stimulated, they all get stimulated.
So you think you can probably give me partial credit for that?
You might.
So there's intercalated disc, there's gap junctions.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? But something fibers.
Then the muscle fibers themselves are branched off. They're not like skeletal muscle where they're just one straight fiber, but they actually branch off and connect to each other that way too.
Okay.
So what else is unique about cardiac muscle as far as
It's just automatic.
it's automatic.
Like you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it depolarizes itself, right?
Which is what isn't like couldn't your lungs are like could they be like cardiac and uncardiac because they're like automatic? So cardiac muscle would be like a diaphragm. Would that make sense?
Okay, I think I get you. So you're talking about autonomic versus somatic.
So what's the difference between autonomic and then cardiac? Like
so autonomic means that there's nerves that are stimulating those things.
Okay.
But we don't control those nerves.
Okay.
It's like our brain stem that controls the nerves, and so we don't have to think about it. Cardiac is different because cardiac's not. It's connected to nerves, but those nerves don't make it beat. Those nerves speed it up and slow it down, but it's going to do its own thing. If we cut those nerves, the
so it'd be like cardiac and skeletal muscle.
Cardiac is like skeletal muscle that can depolarize itself.
Okay. And the heart is only cardiac muscle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only place we find it is the heart.
Okay.
Anywhere else, we don't want it to do that. So why? So if we go down to the cell level, how are those cells able to depolarize themselves? What lets them do that?
Mm-hmm.
So on the cell membrane, we have sodium channels that are always open.
Okay.
And so if we're so this is our graph, and here's our threshold. So because the sodium channels are open, there's always a little bit of sodium leaking in the cell. So we really don't have this resting membrane potential that we do with skeletal muscle. It doesn't really exist because we're never staying in the same place. If we're down here, we're constantly depolarizing slowly because of those open sodium channels. Then we hit threshold and we get full-on depolarization. But because those sodium channels, we're always moving towards threshold. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And that's why they're able to depolarize themselves, because when we hit threshold, we depolarize. So if they're getting themselves closer to threshold, they're going to depolarize on their own.
Okay.
So theoretically, technically, every single heart cell is a pacemaker of its own, because it's going to generate its own action potential at a steady rate.
Okay.
So then the question is, why is the SA node the pacemaker?
I mean, we're talking about like it repolarizes fastest or something.
Good.
Is that like the main reason why they call it pacemaker?
Well, yeah, because it is cardiac muscle. It also does have it's a specific type of cardiac muscle that has a little bit more, it's going to depolarize faster than everywhere else. Maybe there's more sodium channels, I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But whatever it is, it's going to reach threshold before all the others do, so it's going to start the chain reaction. So it's what keeps everything going together. Without that, any random atrial cell could contract or could depolarize, and that would trigger all the others. And really, it happens fairly often. I don't know fairly often, but it happens in people all the time, and they don't even know it. They don't even realize anything's off. I have no idea. But So, anyways, that's why the SA node is a pacemaker, because it hits threshold before all the others.
Okay.
So SA node depolarizes. Where did those signals travel after that?
Well, obviously, we have the AV node.
AV node, so we're going to travel through all the atrial muscles, right? They're all going to get stimulated, and then the AV node will.
Okay.
Right, because there's no nerve pathway between the SA node and the AV, it just travels through the atrial muscle, right? So then it hits the AV node, and then what? So once it hits the AV node, it's going to pause for a split second.
Okay.
There'll be a little bit of a delay, and then it'll go into the ventricles. So why do we have that delay?
No clue.
We want the delay so that the atria can contract before the ventricles.
Okay.
If they were all going at the same time,
Then
there's no point in having atria, there's no preload. You know, atria is there to increase our preload. So atria depolarize, AV node pauses, then the ventricles depolarize. So the AV node's job is to keep them, so the atria and the ventricles aren't connected. You know, the electrical signal won't go from the atria to the ventricles except through the AV node, unless there's some type of deformity or problem. But the AV node is the connection between the two. So if that AV node quits working, just totally completely quits working, then you have the third degree block where the atria are doing their thing and the ventricles are doing their thing. And they're not working together. They're all over the place. So, but anyway, so SA node, we go through the atrial muscle, hit the AV node, pause just for a second, and then how does it travel? What's the anatomy of the conduction system after that?
the bundles.
The AV bundle or the bundle of His.
Okay. Okay, we have 80 bundles, so that's right after the AV node. And then fundal branches, what is
Yep, then the bundle branches. Trying to find the picture of this.
bundle branches? So the bundle branches are just when they break off, or
Yeah, literally the bundle just branches off into two different parts.
Purkinje fibers. So what's their deal?
There we are. So figure 2013. So SA node, go through the atria, AV node, bundle of His, bundle branches, splits off down to the apex, and then goes up to Purkinje fibers.
Okay.
They're just another branch, another
Okay.
smaller branch. So yep, SA node, atrial muscle, AV node, bundle of His, bundle branches, Purkinje fibers, and then that goes all through the ventricular muscle. In reality, the ventricle is going to depolarize. Let's say this was cut off right here. It's still going to depolarize because cardiac muscle can still, that action potential can still travel, right? But by having that conduction system, it all travels more uniform, more in unison, rather than
Then just be on their own.
without it. Yeah, the ventricle is still going to be polarized, but not quite as uniform and won't be quite as effective. But people do live with bundle branch blocks. I mean, where those bundle branches aren't cut off somehow. And it still gets around, just doesn't work quite as well. And it can be a problem, but it doesn't have